Hello, 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 everybody. Jen Hart here with Connected. Thanks for joining us. If you're new, say hello. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you tuning in from? If you're watching the replay, give us a hashtag replay. And if you're returning, say hello. We love to see your happy, lovely face here again. Thanks for tuning in. Today, I'm super excited because we are going to be talking about how to clear up back taxes. You might be wondering, Jen, that's an interesting topic that you haven't really covered before, and you would be right. So, let me tell you a little bit about who I am, what I do, and what I'm creating here. I am a connector. I connect people that are seeking personal growth, development. Maybe they're on a spiritual path. They're looking to improve their life in some way, shape, or form. Finances, maybe that includes taxes. And I connect them with the people, the information, the events, anything that's going to support them on their journey that can help them get to where they want to be. That's what I do as a whole. My passion and my focus is personal development and spirituality. And with that, I have created the Connected Soul Network, which is now a membership for explorers, anybody that's seeking information and that support, as well as the guides, the people who are giving the information. They are leading the events. They are healers, coaches, therapists, and I bring them together through events and interviews and information in the membership portal. If you are interested in joining us, we would love to have you. We cover all aspects of life, as you can see today, with the how to clear up your back taxes, which there's probably a lot of people out there that can use this topic. And so I'm really excited to have our guest on today. And I will leave the link for the membership so you can check it out, as well as some of the upcoming events we have. And there will be lots more to come if you want to join us and see if it might be a good fit for you. And with that being said, if you have any questions, you can always message me personally. I want to introduce our guest today. JuneMarie Andrade is a coach and educator on helping taxpayers lower and settle back taxes. As a debt collector with an IRS focus, JuneMarie routinely suggested ways taxpayers could lower their tax balances. With that, she found a huge passion for helping others and walking them through the necessary steps, which she found that the taxpayers needed more handheld guidance to resolve their growing balances. So she decided to create Help from a Debt Collector. Help from a Debt Collector gives taxpayers guidance and knowledge every step of the way to resolve back taxes themselves or hire a tax professional to do it for them. Taxpayers can communicate with different levels of tax professionals, attorney, accountant, and taxpayer, and then decide what level of professional help they need. Taxpayers can also join the private Facebook community, which we'll talk more about, to share successes, encouragement, questions, etc. On this journey to healing back taxes, taxpayers are not alone and freedom from tax debt can be achieved. I think that this is such an important topic, and I would love to invite JuneMarie to be with us today. Hello.
Hi.
Thank you for joining us. I'm so excited.
Well, thank you for the invitation. I'm so glad to be here. Hi, everybody.
Yes, I love JuneMarie. So JuneMarie, I always start off with how I met people. JuneMarie and I met because I was in Toastmasters, which if you don't know what Toastmasters is, it's a group to help you with your speaking for public speaking. It's also very social as well. So I met a lot of people and we meet, we practice speeches, we learn how to do speeches, we learn how to give feedback for them. And JuneMarie was also a fellow Toastmaster, but in a different group. So I hadn't met her personally, but another Toastmaster friend connected us because I was in a book program writing a book, which is still in progress. You can see my cover back here. And JuneMarie wanted to write a book as well, which I see, JuneMarie, that you have your book cover right behind you in that poster back there. I'm
Yes.
excited. We'll get more into that. And so that's how we connected, and we've been friends ever since.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, that's it.
That's pretty much it. And I do have to say, with the help of Jennifer, I was able to meet up with one of my mentors, which was Kimberly Day.
Yep.
And from there, I mean, we just sort of reached in and a whole lot of stuff grew out of that. I did have a desire to write a book where taxpayers didn't feel like they were alone in their struggle
Yeah.
to try and resolve their tax issues. And so, and I just wanted to put a bunch of stories together so, taxpayers can read other people's stories, plus, giving them some information, some IRS information about what they can do to help themselves. And someone told me about Jen, and Jennifer called me right away. And from that, everything's bloomed from there. And it's been a wonderful journey, I do have to say.
I'm like, thank you for the live testimonial. That was like so unplanned, but you were an explorer in what I've created now. And I'm, as a connector, you came to me wanting to explore the option of starting this, book and then eventually blooming into a business. So I connected you with my guide at the time, Kim Day, who's one of my old time friends that I've done a lot of workshops with. And then you wrote your book.
Yeah.
And then I know from there, this is why I love like the power of connection and how we're all connected. So like I was doing a business coaching program, which I introduced Kim to. Kim joined, and then she introduced you there, and then you joined. And so it's like this chain of events. So like just from that one person that connected us, you now have a book and a business that you've started. And so I just thank you for sharing that, because people like who might be watching this, you just don't know where one connection might go. So the Explorers membership is open now, and people can join. And if they are wanting to explore any aspect of their life, I'm getting guides from all areas: health, finances, and finances is so broad, because I was like, people are going to see this topic and be like, this is interesting. It's a little bit different. Usually my topics are very personal development and spirituality, but here's the thing. This is healing. This is personal development. It is spirituality. It's just in a different sense. And it's going to be very specific. And the thing is someone watching this might know someone that needs your services. It might not be them, but they might know someone that has back taxes. And here's what I've learned. It's like when you have something weighing on your mind or your heart, it's taking up space in your aura, your energetic field, your spiritual life, it's holding your energy back and down. And like what I've learned is you have to get complete, face it head on and get complete. And so JuneMarie has joined the membership as a guide because she wants to connect with people and help people. And that's what the membership is about, is guides are here to help other people help themselves, right? Because we can't do anything for anybody. Someone can only come to JuneMarie if they want to do something about their situation, if they have back taxes, and get it clear. Like it's going to just lift and be such a healing experience and release so much to be able to bloom and move forward, right?
That's so true, because that energy that you're holding when it comes to debt, whether it's your back tax debt or whatever that is, you're holding a certain amount of, it's not necessarily positive energy, it's negative energy, and it's fear. And it's one thing that, people don't really want to talk to family members about, or too many people about, because there's an embarrassment that's kind of attached to that. But when you know that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, that there's actually something that can be done, because when you're looking at the IRS debt, when you're looking at debt period, there's penalties and interest and all these kind of things that keep on adding up until you settle it, and that's in the back of your mind. Those things are adding up, and it's scary, just knowing how much it's going to be, and all those things. But once you reach out to someone who can actually tell you, this is what you can do to heal that situation, and you see that it's actually working, and that there's, you can actually talk about it and release that energy. It's just like a, whew, I can breathe again. Okay? Because you know that there's going to be a light at the end of that tunnel. And so that is honestly, so that's a healing for sure. And that's what I like, that's what I like to give to people, that healing. I like to give that information. This is what you can do to correct that situation. And that's what I do. And
so
it's for me.
I was going to say, let me just, I want to make sure that it's clear. So you don't you don't like do the back taxes for them. You guide people to do their own back taxes, right?
That is correct. They're getting that handheld assistance on what they need to do. All right. And it all comes from a place of knowledge. You have to know what your tax picture is. You have to know what that history is in order to be able to resolve it.
Yeah.
So when you're working from a place of knowledge, then you can better navigate the next steps. What is the next thing that I can do? What is it I can, and what is it I can't do? All right. And how much time is this going to take? You can get that information. So yeah.
So what do you do in your business? Because you said you do one-on-one coaching. So
Mhm.
you're helping to guide people. So your ideal person that you would work with is someone who knows that they have back tax debt on a personal level,
Right.
and they're frozen, it's overwhelming. I For myself personally, I see that when I don't know what something is, I tend to just shove it under the rug and not face it head on. So I've gotten better at going, okay, I know the first time I look at something, I need to just like check it out, and then it's because a lot of times my mind makes it way bigger than it actually is. And
That's
so
right.
you're here to hold
Hmm.
the space for people, and with
Right.
your knowledge guide
Hmm.
them of what steps they need to get this taken care of so that they can clear it out of their
Right.
space.
So, I mean, if we're looking at an ideal person, that can be so many different types of personalities or people, that are in back tax debt.
Yeah.
One thing that you look at, for the person who says, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
I don't know how it started. I don't know. All I know is I received something in the mail. All I know is I received a phone call.
Yeah.
All right. For those people who are starting off from not knowing anything, as I said, it starts from knowledge and knowing. Um, so you have an idea that you owe something. You may have received something in the mail. You may have gotten a phone call. All right. Now, the next thing that you need to do is, get more information on what it is that's going on with your tax picture. And one of the things I would want to do is guide you so you know what to do, what the next steps are, and then the steps after that. Providing you that calm that you need to experience so you can work from a place of knowledge moving forward with your tax picture and seeing how you can actually resolve your picture. And that's what I try and do for people. Not only that, now if the picture is too complicated, if your tax picture is too complicated, there's too many things going on, you may need to talk to a tax professional, right? And even if you need to talk to a tax professional, you still need to work from a place of knowledge, knowing what's going on with your picture. You don't want to just hand everything over and say, you take care of it. That's what you want to do. That's how the situation may have been created in the first place. Because tax professionals are only people. Things happen, right? If you're knowledgeable about what's going on with your picture, you can ask questions, all right? So if you need to speak to a tax professional, I try and provide different levels of tax professionals that you can talk to, whether it's the attorney, uh, if it's an accountant that you may need to talk to, a tax preparer. You get a chance to talk to all those different levels of people, and you get a chance to see what level of help you need, because with all those different levels comes a different price tag, right? So you may not need an attorney to speak to. You may just need someone as simple as a tax preparer to talk to. All right. But at least you'll know this is what I need to move forward.
So you're like a connector in the tax world,
There you
basically,
go.
like a guide slash connector. So
That is
would
correct.
you say that there are some instances that you could just help someone, you fully just with your own knowledge and background, to
Mhm.
from start A to point Z finishing, and they
Yes.
don't have to talk to anybody else? And then if, like you said, it's a little bit more complicated
Mhm.
or intensive, that you can connect them with the right professional and help them
Exactly.
to decipher who they should speak with, and
Mhm.
yeah, like kind of which level that would be.
Exactly. In the program that I'm creating, they can get the opportunity to speak with different levels of help. And those professionals can tell them exactly what they do. And if they're wanting to have that professional, then, you can go ahead and have that professional if that's what you want. However, if you don't, if your tax picture isn't that complicated, right? And from start to finish, you just have some things that you'd like to remove, like, possibly the penalties, maybe negotiate your tax picture. Those things, we can talk about. Yeah, I can get you through that stuff, right? But if the picture is a lot bigger and there's a lot more complications, then, as I said, you still need to know about those things, but that tax professional will be able to take you all the way and get you into some type of arrangement. But what you're looking at is seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, so that situation can be over and you can have that back tax freedom. That is really what it's all about. Freedom from your back taxes, and you've settled it and you can go on with your life.
Okay, so you said that they could negotiate this. So like
Mm-hmm.
with that, and also is there anything else that like people might not know? Like they go, "Oh, I'll just do it on my own," whereas you might have some inside tips since you have a background and a history in helping people with this. Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that people know that they can negotiate their it's so hard to say, back tax debt. So
Right.
obviously with your knowledge and help, like now, like, I would know that if I had back tax debt that I could
Mm-hmm.
negotiate it. Is there
Right.
anything else that people might not know that like you can
Um,
help them with?
that if you're in a hardship and you can't pay your taxes at all, okay, that right there, you can look to the IRS for something like that as well.
Hmm.
There are just, there's just a couple of things that you can do for your tax picture, but understand, if you're looking for a hardship or something like that, um, you just can't claim a hardship and be done with it. Your hardship picture is going to last a very, very long time. All right. And that picture is not going to be changing anytime soon because, the IRS will be watching your tax picture.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good to know. Well,
Yeah.
that's cool. I've already learned new things right there. Also, I earlier you said something, I forget, but it made me think of what we talked about with you and I. And you actually have personal experience because I feel like people just go
Yeah.
taxes,
Ooh,
and they get freaked out.
okay.
And
Yeah.
yeah, myself included, I'm still working on
Mhm.
taxes too. Oops. And
Yeah, so I do have some personal experience.
yeah, would you share that with us? Because I
Yeah.
feel like it's really important,
Mhm.
and it would be helpful for some people to hear.
Right. So a while ago, before I knew anything about um, collecting or anything like that, um, I had a business before, and I used to categorize everything. You know, all receipts were categorized, and I took my little folder of receipts to my excuse me to my tax preparer, right? And for some reason they missed checking a box, right? And so I was a little bit upset with what my tax preparer was actually. They had she was hiring interns and all this kind of stuff. She was no longer, looking at my tax stuff. She says, June, you're easy. You're always, putting your stuff in categories and things like that. So you're easy. I don't have to worry about your taxes. It's like, but you still have to check my work, right? Now, this particular thing that she didn't do, wouldn't be something I would know because, being a tax preparer or anything like that, that's not my job. My job is just to get my stuff ready for you to do whatever you're going to do with my taxes, right? Alrighty then. So she didn't click a box. I wouldn't know that, but I went to my mailbox and I had something from the IRS saying that I was going to be audited. Well, my heart just stopped right there. I was like, oh my God. And my mind couldn't move past, oh my God, I'm being audited. And the amount was so huge. I mean, we're not talking just a couple of $1,000s. No, we're talking about a huge amount of money that I apparently owed the IRS. And I'm just like, how in the world? So I called my tax person and I said, I'm being audited. Oh my God, I'm being audited. And so she says, June, you'll be fine. I'm not going to be fine, you know, because I didn't know anything about her job. I just knew that I was being audited. So anyway, she told me she was going to charge me like $500, some dang ridiculous amount of money to sit with me with the auditor, right? And I said, no, I'm not going to pay that amount of money. So then at the same time, there were these commercials. If the IRS is after you, if you owe the IRS, if you're being audited, I'm like, yeah, that's me. That's me. I'm being audited. I want that help. And I called them up and help. They said $500 for the hour. And I'm just like, what the heck? So I decided to call the IRS myself. There was a number on the paperwork that I had. I went on and called the number myself and I said, hey, can you just be honest with me? Am I going to need some type of representation? Do I need to get an attorney? What do I need to do? Well, the IRS representative said, no, you don't need to have any representation. You can actually just go ahead and schedule an appointment. And if you feel uncomfortable at any time, we'll stop at that point and you can get representation if you want. And I said, wow, the person was just so nice, right? So I went on and scheduled the appointment, and the person said that they were coming to my house. I was like, what? And they said, yeah, they wanted to see my office. They wanted to see where I was working. I said, okay, fine. They came to my office. I let them sit behind the big desk, right? Was offering them milk and cookies, anything, to make this person feel comfortable, right? Well, that person said, your tax person didn't click this box, and that's why you got audited. But he said, understand, audits are random, and so you didn't necessarily have to be audited, but they're random, and this just came up, so you got audited. But here was the thing. What I understood about that after the audit, after my nerves calmed down and all that kind of stuff, I said, a bunch of years could have gone by. I would not have known that I owed that amount of money. And all of those years would have went by. And if it would have come up a bunch of years later, penalties and interest would have accrued on that balance that I owed. Not only that, I wouldn't even know where the error was on top of that, right? Because my tax person didn't catch it. She was the one who didn't check the box. And so I said, maybe it's not a terrible thing, being audited. At least what the heck is going on with your taxes from a certain point. All right. And so that's one of the messages that I give people. No, being audited is not a comfortable thing. It's heart stopping. It's all of that stuff. All right. But knowing exactly where you're at in your tax picture, at least and you can clean up anything from that point on, instead of years going by, penalties and interest accruing on any balance that you may owe. And by the time you find out, you're thousands of dollars in the hole from penalties and interest, right?
Yeah.
So that's my story. I ended up not having a balance. They sent me something, in the mail saying that I owed nothing, right? And I fired my tax person. I said, that's it for you.
I was going to say, I hope so. Did they amend your taxes for you free of charge?
No. I went to someone else. No, they weren't.
You're done at that point.
Yeah, you're kind of done. I mean, you're not allowed to touch my taxes after that.
I remember now what made me think of this story, because when you were talking about you can go to a tax person or an attorney and all these things, but I was thinking like, even then, and I've had it happen to me, our tax people, you said tax people are just people too. You said something that triggered me and I was like, oh yeah, your personal story, because that was the thing, is that you had a tax person go and do your taxes and still mess up. And I got it. They're humans and whatever, accidents and mistakes happen, but that's why people should be learning the knowledge on themselves. And the same thing happened to me. My tax person told me something, and then I get a notice that I owe this money, and I call the tax number directly. And then they were like, your tax person's wrong. You should fire them. It's just like, wow, okay. I put so much trust in this person, you know what I mean? And so it was interesting. Yeah.
The trust. You hand your stuff over and you're saying that that's their job. Just do it, right?
Yeah.
Because it's not something that you know how to do.
Right.
They do. That's why you pay them,
Right.
and you're just hoping that they can, that they will
Do it right. Yeah,
get
and
you a
that's
refund.
why I educate myself now, and like, you don't know what you don't know. So like I didn't know what I didn't know, and I would have never known had it not come up, and I got same thing as you, got a notice in the mail. And now I know, and I share that information with other people when I talk to them, and I'm like, "Oh, if you get an LLC, this, and if you
Yeah,
open a business taxes are due March 25th." Like, we
yeah,
didn't know that. Like, no one taught, I mean,
yeah.
I shouldn't say no one taught me that. I went to school for business, but I don't retain that information from 20 years ago. Plus, so
Right.
much, the world has changed since then. And so
Yeah,
it's like I'm learning as I'm going. So, like, what I have learned is, yeah, if someone knows more than you, freaking pay them for their time and their expertise and have them help you along. And because the tax people, they're busy. They're super, like, their season is the tax season, and they're like staying up all night or all nighters. So their brain is probably not always running.
and that's
And
amazing. Hmm.
oh, I
And
was gonna say, and I'm calling for tax people, good tax people that are like on a path of personal development and spirituality that align. We need some guides in the group that you can connect with also,
oh
because
yeah.
a good connection. What were you gonna say?
Well, that's one thing that I would appreciate. Other tax, people,
Yeah,
that can help any of the taxpayers that are entrusting themselves to me to help
yeah,
me guide them along the way. I would definitely want to connect with other tax professionals just so that they can talk to the taxpayers to help them along the way if they have questions or anything like that. Because I don't um, I don't do your taxes. I want to put that out there. I'm not an attorney. I'm not a tax preparer. I'm not an accountant. You
yeah,
know, I was a collector once upon a time, so I can guide you so far.
yeah,
But that said, some of those things, some of those questions that you may have, you know, I definitely want to make sure that I have enough people in my circle that you can talk to every level of help that you may need to discuss your tax picture with,
yeah.
right? And have those people also be available to you um, in my circle of people as well that I'll be
Yeah, I love that.
connecting you with.
It's like a team, coming
Yes,
together for the purpose of helping to get the taxes cleared. And
it's definitely that. Yeah.
it's definitely doable. So if
Mhm.
someone is looking they want to have your one-on-one assistance with getting
Mhm.
their taxes done, they can go to your website,
Yeah.
um,
My
which
website is, go ahead.
I was going to say, which I'm going to post up there, but you can say it.
It's helpfromadebtcollector.com. All right. And you would just need to schedule an appointment with me through Calendly.
Calendly. Yeah, it's so hard to say.
Calendly. And so we can have a conversation and we can get you on the road to healing.
I love that. What people don't know is that I used to actually be a debt collector also. Except I collected on student loans, and I have
Mhm.
a whole different perspective after being a student loan debt collector.
Yeah.
Is that it's actually a pretty scary world out there for college kids, and the fact that there's so much pressure on getting loans and going to college and take
Yeah.
out all this debt, and and then I'd hear the saddest stories of people, and I'd see people that were going to school to be an attorney with like hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt, working at Burger King, barely making ends meet. And I'm just like, there's a huge disconnect here. And it just really opened my eyes up to the world of student loans. And
Right.
I mean, I help people where I can. If people know that I did it, they'll like ask if they're in a situation. So I try to
Hmm.
impart my knowledge. But yeah, it's just like you see the damage of what it does to people and their lives and their finances. And this is why I was so happy when you decided to join the membership, because financial
Hmm.
health is important. And what my personal goal is freedom.
Yeah.
Freedom, and I say financial freedom, but what I really mean by financial freedom is time freedom, because when I have financial freedom, that buys my time to be
Hmm.
free. Not that I couldn't, like, be free in certain ways now. I am. I call myself whimsical, but I'm like, wee.
Yeah.
But it's like, I want that financial freedom. I want to be debt free. I want to have investments. I want my money to make me money where
Yeah.
I can just show up and do this because I love it. I love connecting with people. I love doing these interviews. I love doing the events.
Yeah.
And it's so fun to get paid for it. But I'd also like to just do it because I do choose to do it. Like I created this for myself. And
Hmm.
so you being able to take your experience as a debt collector
Yeah.
and all your tax knowledge personally and professionally and packaging it up for people and having them have your assistance if that feels aligned, it's helping them to get on that step of financial freedom for themselves, and that's
Right.
really an important piece. And because taxes, they don't just go away, like credit card debt, medical debt, like those are a little bit different, but the student loans and the taxes, they will continue to follow you. I saw people having their tax refunds taken and they have no idea. Like it was crazy, it's a whole new
Right.
world that
That's
I
the
was
thing, because most
to.
people don't know, like if the refund is taken, what
Yes.
happened? Where'd it
Yeah.
go? It's a huge, question mark. Where'd it go? And
Especially if you were expecting it. There was people that like had spent that money before they ever got it.
so
They
true,
Oh, it was so
so true.
sad.
And
Yeah.
that's a part of, having that knowledge. You need to
Yes.
have a
The
knowledge
knowledge.
that's what's going on with your picture,
Yep.
and if they take it, where'd it go? What tax year
And
did they
make
put it
sure
on?
I've seen that my friend was having a bunch of transactions and
Hmm.
IRS lost some of them. So the money disappeared off of their account, but it
Yeah,
was gone. And
right.
so it's like just being able to know your stuff and to look at it and to have that picture. You keep calling the
And
picture. I
it's
like that.
especially before, they start garnishing your wages,
Yeah.
and things like that. And that's the other thing. People get their wages garnished, right?
Yeah.
And they're just like, my wages got garnished, and they don't even know, you know, um, what agency is garnishing their wages. Is it
Right.
state or is it federal? Who's taking that money?
Yeah. Well, and then because we had the wage garnishments and the student loans also, it's like that still doesn't put your loan in good standing. That still doesn't, and it's
Right.
different than taxes. So when I say
Right.
these things, I'm speaking from my student loan experience, not tax experience. And it's
Hmm.
different, I'm sure. But like people would be like, oh, well, they're garnishing my wages, it's being paid. And I'm like, but
Right.
it's not paid voluntarily. Like it still doesn't put you in a good standing, like, you know what I mean? And it's that knowledge, they didn't have the
Yeah.
knowledge and then they didn't want to hear it, so I mean I did what I could, but
That's
yeah.
what it's really all about. It's all about, having the knowledge of what's going on
Yeah.
with your financial picture, whether it's your taxes, whether it's your student loans,
Yeah.
each one of those things, you've got to have that information. And, if we're sharing that information, people can make wiser decisions on what to do,
Yeah.
um, what they can and can't do,
Yeah.
what they should do, right? And how they can start resolving whatever their pitch is, because you can owe loans, student loans, and taxes forever.
Oh my god, yes,
You
I
would
know
just
so
be
many
paying,
people.
yeah, you would just be paying like the interest. That's it.
Yes.
But as far as that balance, the principal, that thing is still outstanding, and that's in a student loan or your IRS debt.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't want to be, that person, because you're thinking, oh, so they're garnishing, they're taking this amount of money, whether it's for your student loan or anything else, they're taking this amount of money, so it must be paying something off. Well, guess what? It's kind of heartbreaking to know that your debt didn't even move because they were
Yeah.
just paying off some interest.
I have a lot of friends that have talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
So I was
Mm-hmm.
just looking at my notes right now. So I wrote down removing penalties and offering and compromise. So is that kind of what I had mentioned
Yeah,
that
that's
you
kind
pointed out earlier, like the negotiations part of it? Like
of
people probably don't even, some people may not even know that they can ask
exactly.
for those types of things to be removed, you know?
And that was some of the information I would share with taxpayers when they would call in. You know, because if they ask me how to remove, can you remove anything? Well,
Yeah.
I can't remove anything, but you can request to have that part of the debt removed.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
share the information, but there are codes and things like that that you have to put on your paperwork.
Right. And when you call in, you have to know, like, here's what I see. It's like if you don't know what you're asking for, they don't know what to tell you. And then, like, I always try to leave my conversations now, is there anything else that I have not asked you for that I should need to know?
Right.
And that has helped me to get more information because you don't, like, again, you don't know what you don't know. So if you don't even know to ask about these things, how could you even get the path to like have it? So I love what you're doing. It's also emotional support, right? Like
Oh, for
sometimes you just
sure. You're getting
need
that
someone on your side, like a cheerleader, a hand holder,
right.
accountability. Like, oh, because if
All of
not,
that.
like we're still getting our work together. So it's like you are like, hey, how are you doing on this? You know?
And not only that, you get the opportunity to see that you're not in that boat by yourself.
Right.
And someone else's picture may be a little bit harder than your picture, you
Yeah.
know. And so, it's that handheld guidance, is that, being able to talk to other taxpayers that are, maybe in your boat, getting a chance to hear those stories.
Yeah.
And that's just it. It's, and the accountability, what are the next steps?
Yes,
You
that's
know,
huge. And
uh,
getting them done. So like I know a lot of things I need to get done and they're just sitting on my desk still years later.
so true. The other thing I was going to mention, when you're dealing with IRS issues and things like that, when you call the IRS office, there's a bit of a wait time.
Yeah.
We didn't discuss that. There's a little bit of a wait time. You can be waiting for a couple of hours or whatever,
Oh my
you
gosh.
know. And
Yeah.
after you've waited all that time, a couple of things can happen. The call can disconnect before you're ready.
Oh
That
my
happens.
gosh. Ah,
That happens, just as, so the call can disconnect before you're ready, or you may not have asked all the questions. And just as they're hanging up, you may have that last burning question. But guess what? Now you've got to wait all day again to get
yeah.
it answered. Um, and just, even if you ask that question, is there anything else I should know? It is so overwhelming, the information
Oh
that
yeah.
they're trying to share with you. You
Yeah.
know, you're writing that stuff down, and you may write it all over your whatever. Okay. And by the time you look at it, you're just like, what is this? And what did
What
this
did
mean?
it mean?
And what
Yeah.
does that mean? And
Yeah.
I abbreviated here. What did that mean? At least if you're in some type of program, you can just, look at recordings, ask those questions again, and actually speak to someone who's helping navigate, the world for you.
Yeah.
And
Well, I love
also,
that you said that because also what I saw happen every time that I was getting my business license, these
mm-hmm,
people have been doing this for a long time and they're super knowledgeable. And so what my experience was is I felt like I was annoying them with my questions, like they didn't get that I didn't get it and I'm like, this is your job. Like don't come to my job. I'm not going to expect you to know what I do. Like this
right,
is second nature to them and they would just say it like I should know and I'm
right.
like, whoa, hold up. Like, what does that mean? Like, how does, and it's like they're so busy and probably understaffed at all the
That's hard
places,
to do.
especially now. It's
Mhm.
like, oh, we have like five other people waiting. Like, let's rush this person off the phone. That's how I felt when I was doing it.
But that happens. They
Yeah.
do. They do scoot you off the phone before you're ready,
Well,
and
and
you can tell
they're
when you're
so
being.
knowledgeable that
Mm-hmm,
like they don't understand that like that's why when I do my interviews, I always ask people to find that. Like think of yourself back 20 years ago when you first started your job, you didn't know these things. Yes,
correct.
you could talk about it so quick and it makes so much sense now, but to someone who is listening, they're like, "What is that?" You know?
Yeah,
So, yeah.
yeah, exactly, exactly. That's the hard part right there. You know, um, the information that you're sharing, just realizing that they don't know all those little special quotes and or the
Yeah.
slang of the job. They
Yeah.
don't they don't know that part, and they don't get, so you have to break it down, for them, and
Yeah.
that's okay. I didn't have a problem, breaking down the conversation so that the taxpayer could understand what I'm
Yeah.
saying, you know, but it does take time.
Yes, it takes
It
time.
does take
Yeah.
time to
Yeah.
do that, and the taxpayer may have a lot of questions, and you only have so much time that you can share that information because they're not going to get it all. But I've always said, if there's something that you didn't understand, call back.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you get stuck, call back.
I
Hmm.
love that. So it's like you have like that guided one-on-one if someone chooses like to work with you versus
Hmm.
doing it all on their own, which is really good because yeah, when I called, the lady was just like boop 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 and like you got to go. I waited hours for my phone call back from them. Like I literally I
Hmm.
think it was like 5 or 6 hours and then I was like, "Dang, I got one shot and if I don't get all my questions in, I'm going to have to call back and do it all over again."
True, it's true. So there are certain questions that you should ask when you're calling, just to whether you're trying to get into a payment arrangement, whether
Yeah.
you're wanting more information about how to settle
Yeah.
your taxes. They're just questions, that you should have on hand and ready to ask, so you can know the next question that you may want to ask the person that you're talking to, because you've only got that little window of time.
Yeah.
And, for me, at the time of being a rep, I didn't mind taking that time to give
Right.
them the
Yeah.
information that they need, because it's scary. It's
Yeah.
scary for someone to call in with not knowing anything, getting a letter and not knowing what it's all about. But
Yeah.
they're calling because they received a letter. That's something that's really, really brave for them to do, because there's a lot of people that will put that thing to the side and continue getting penalties and interest.
Right.
All right. And so, that's a really brave move. And the other thing is, maybe they did call um, the IRS and didn't get all the information, or they didn't get a chance to talk to anyone. And it's very frustrating. And the most frustrating thing is knowing that on the back end, the penalties and interest are still adding up and you didn't get a chance to get your questions answered. You
Yeah.
didn't get a chance to get into any kind of payment arrangement, and you know that the penalties and interest, that's stress right there for you,
Right. Yeah.
and you don't know what to do.
Yeah.
So, out of that, this was created, Help from a Debt Collector. And I'm here, if anyone has the questions, they need to get into a program um, to resolve their issues.
Okay. So I'll post your website, but the website is helpfromadebtcollector.com.
Hmm.
And they can book in on your calendar to see is it like a free consultation to see if it's a good
Yes,
fit?
yes, the consultation is free.
Okay.
Be ready to have an open conversation so we can see where if we're a good fit.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. Let's talk before we run out of time. Let's talk
Hmm.
about your book. Tell me about
Oh,
your book.
book. Yes, yes, yes. So my book, IRS Nightmares, Surprises, and Successes. So that was created to help navigate taxpayers on the road to healing their tax picture. Now, within that book, there is, a bunch of IRS information, right? And there's also some really entertaining stories, you know, um, and all public knowledge. Got to say that. It had to be, some public information
Yeah.
because of my job. So got to say that. But um, yeah, there's some little juicy, tidbits about, entertainers who got into some tax issues somehow,
Mm,
and how they resolved their taxes, or if they didn't resolve their taxes.
yeah.
That's all in there. There are different celebrities and things like that that are in that book, and it's all basically to keep you reading, keep those pages turning, because
Yeah.
the tax picture is scary and it's kind of a dry subject, right? And I was all about just trying to make it as entertaining as possible. So
Yeah.
I think I succeeded in doing that, and the book's available for anyone who wants to check it out.
I will link it on in the captions also. Do you sell it on your website or is it only just on
So
Amazon?
it is on the website.
Okay.
It is on the website, but you can also go to Amazon and
I'll
purchase
link
it
to
there.
Amazon and then I'll link it on your
Mhm.
website. If they buy it from your website, do they get a personalized copy or?
So you know what? I'm going to try and create that so I can just sort of personalize it. And just so you guys know, I've also created a couple of workbooks, on offering compromise, if that's something that's negotiating. If you want to negotiate with the IRS, just giving you some information about that.
Yeah.
The workbook that's going to be coming pretty soon is requesting a penalty abatement. So that
Hmm.
one's going to be coming pretty soon. In the program, that I've created, you're going to get one free PDF of the offering compromise or the penalty abatement, depending on which one you want. And so that's a conversation that we'll be able to have as well when you get ready to come into the program, if that's something that you're wanting to do.
Perfect. Cool. Anything else you want to add before we wrap it up?
Whew, I think that's it. I've had a great time talking to you, Jen. It's been fun. And if anyone wants to connect with me, all right, help from a debt collector, all right, you can also get on my calendar link. Also, every once in a while, you will see something on Eventbrite where I'll be hosting some courses or something like that, so people can get more information and, of course, ask some questions.
Oh, wait, we forgot to talk about your Facebook group.
Oh, my Facebook group. So the Facebook group, that is going to be called Back Tax Freedom.
Yep.
Because that's what we're looking for. We're looking for
Yeah.
that freedom, from those taxes. So Back Tax Freedom, that's where that the professionals will be connecting with the taxpayers. Taxpayers will be connecting with themselves, being able to chat, ask questions. If we're between classes or courses and you have a burning question, that something that needs to be answered right now, you can always go to your group,
Yeah.
the Back Tax Freedom group, and put it in the post, and someone will be answering those questions. So you'll never be alone. It's all about that handheld help to get
Yeah.
you to the end. And even once you're at the end, you may just want to pop in to see what's new and interesting.
So is the group for anyone that wants to join, or is it a paid group that they get it if they're in like a program or something?
That's correct. You're a part of the group because the group is private,
Well,
right?
no, I mean, like, so if like say I have back tax debt, but I haven't hired you yet, can I
Mm-hmm.
still be in your group? Or is it only for people that are paying like clients?
Right. So it's only for paying clients. That's why it's
Okay.
private. Yeah. So it's a private group.
Got it.
Once you're a paying client, then you're a part of the group. You're getting a chance to speak with the attorneys and tax collect, all of that good stuff.
Okay. All right.
Mhm.
Glad I asked because I wasn't for sure. So we got that. So that is something that is included if they end up working with you so that they have more
Correct.
community and support. Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
It's community. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, if anybody is interested in connecting with JuneMarie, her website will be posted in the captions. You can check in there and book on her calendar if you want to schedule a consultation. Is there a place to just get on like your email list on your website?
Not yet, but I'll go ahead and create that
She'll
because
add
I'd love to
one.
hear from all of you guys.
Yes, yeah, because someone might not be ready quite yet to have a consult, but they want to follow
Yeah.
along and see the master classes that you have coming out on Eventbrite,
Yes.
that kind of stuff. So, see, this is why JuneMarie's a guide because I'm like, great. So now you need an email opt-in. Go make it. Thanks. Give the people what they might want.
Yes. Yes.
Well, thanks, JuneMarie, so much. I appreciate it. It's so fun to connect with you. I just think you're always a lovely soul and so educational. I will tell you how many every time JuneMarie and I get on the phone, it's like at least an hour call, and she's always just educating me on all these cool things that like I know nothing about that she does, and she loves it. Like I can feel her passion in it. And we were talking about some different subjects, and she was just like, and this and this and this, and I'm like, oh my god, I didn't know, and I can just feel like that brings her joy to be able to share and help people. So,
but I have to say it's the same for Jennifer because she will connect you with some of the best people, and you know, once you start talking to her, she'll be like, I know someone who can help you with that, and I know someone who can do that, and that's how I got here because I
yeah.
reached out to Jennifer, and she was just like, hey, just a minute. I know who, I mean, I'm writing a book myself, and, I think this will be a perfect fit for you. And she was absolutely right. Perfect fit.
Yep.
So
Yep.
there it is.
Yep.
And then there's 2 more that are going to be coming. Boom,
Oh,
boom.
I love that. They're over there too.
They're
That's
over
so
there. They're
cool.
over there. So I'm just doing some things.
I love that I was in the program first, and then you were the next group of people, and then you finished your book, and I'm still working on mine. But mine was a divine timing and also divine lessons. So
Mhm.
my book, what I didn't know, it's actually going to be about writing the book in a lot of ways, because I thought I was ready, but I actually wasn't. Like, I was connecting outside of myself, wanting to please other people, I guess, instead of like listening to my true guidance, which was that I wasn't really ready. So,
Yeah, but
but
a part of that is you have to know the right title, what's a real good fit, and
yeah,
I love the title that you have, Connected, because I mean honestly, that is just so you. You know,
yes,
you really connect people,
yeah,
and you do it effortlessly.
yes,
That
thank
is the
you.
best part.
I love
You
it.
so your light
Yeah, I got my
shines.
title in my book cover, which I freaking love, but then it was just putting all the pieces
True.
together. It was like there I have so much stuff, but there was just a little something missing, and now I know what it
Yeah,
was. The membership wasn't up and running yet, and
right.
that's what I needed to be able. That was the small connection. Plus there was still some personal lessons that I needed to learn and healings that needed to happen in my life to be able to
Mhm.
share those in the book also. And now I know what I'm sharing with people in my book. And it's like how you can find your own path of exploration and or guidance if you want to become a guide, which I do see that a lot of people who are going to be explorers to start are going to be guides to end, because I think that's just the natural path that a lot of people will be on. But yeah, so,
Right,
but it's
right.
fun. I love that we have that in common, and we have like
True.
that community and that group there. So it's really cool. And I'm glad that you said yes. And I'm so thankful to our connection that connected us, um,
Mhm.
because it's like you just don't know where one connection might be. And that's why I just love connecting with people, because one connection can literally change your life. Like, you may never even see that person again. I have connections that I've made with people and I've never seen them again in my life. And they don't even know how they've impacted me, from
Yeah.
just one conversation, one book recommendation. Like, all of that can make a huge impact and a shift in someone's life. So
It's
look at
so
you.
true. It's so true. I mean, look at what we're doing now.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, just think way back when, I didn't even know you when you worked at the first company that we both worked at, right?
Yes.
I didn't even know you
Yes.
then. And then next thing you know, we started talking. It's just like, hey, I work there. And it was just like, you work there too? Oh my gosh. And
Yeah.
now, I'm trying to help people with, putting them on the right path to healing their back tax, picture,
Yeah.
guiding them that way, and connecting with the right professional if that's something that they need. So it's all about connections. And for me, once I got the connection with you, it just sort of bloomed from there because you connected me with the right person. And it's the same thing
Hmm.
that I'm going to do for you guys out there. If you guys have some back tax issues, you know, reach out so I can connect you with the right person. If it's not me, I'll be glad to connect you with the person that you need to connect with.
Yes.
So I don't have all the answers, but trust when I say I will get the answers for you, I'll get the answers for you.
I love it. Thank you, JuneMarie. You're amazing. And I can't wait to see what the membership and your business and everything has in store. And I'm happy to be a part of it. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. And we will be talking later. Bye,
Yes.
guys.
Have a good day, everyone.